everybody, today I will be reading Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Chapter 6, Gilderoy Lockhart. The next day. However, Harry barely grinned once. Things started going downhill from breakfast in the Great Hall. The 4 long house tables were laden with tureen and porridge, plates of kippers, mountains of toast, and dishes of eggs and bacon beneath the enchanted ceiling. Today, a dull, cloudy grey. Harry and Ron sat down at the Gryffindor table next to Hermione, who had a copy of Voyages with Vampires propped open against a milk jug. There was slight stiffness in the way she said morning, which told Harry that she was still disapproving of the way they had arrived. Neville Longbottom, on the other hand, greeted them cheerfully. Neville was a round-faced and accident-prone boy with the worst memory of anyone Harry had ever met. Post due any minute. I think Grant's sending on a few things I forgot. Harry had only just started his coach. Sure enough, there was a rushing sound overhead, and 100 or so out streamed in, circling the hall and dropping letters and packages into the chattering crowd. A big lumpy parcel bounced off Neville's head, and a second later, something large and grey fell into Hermione's jug, spraying them all with milk and feathers. Errol said, pulling the bed jug out by the feet. Errol slumped unconscious onto the table, his legs in the air, and a damp red envelope in his beak. Oh no! It's all right. He's still alive," said Hermione, prodding Errol gently with the tip of her finger. "It's not that. It's that." Ron was pointing at the red envelope. It looked quite ordinary to Harry, but Ron and Neville were both looking at it as though they expected it to explode. She sent me a howl, said Ron faintly. "You'd better open it, Ron," said Neville in a timid whisper. "It'll be worse if you don't. My gran sent me one once, and I ignored it, and he gulped. It was horrible." Harry looked from their petrified faces to the red envelope. "What's a howler?" he said. But Ron's whole attention was fixed on the letter, which had begun to slip at the corners. "Open it," said Neville asked. "I'll be all over it in a few minutes." Ron stretched out a shaking hand, eased the envelope in Errol's beak, and slit it open. Neville stuffed his fingers in his ear. A split second later, Harry knew why. He thought for a moment it had exploded. A roar of sound filled the huge hall, seeking dust from the ceiling. Stealing the car! I wouldn't have been surprised if they'd expelled you. You wait till I get hold of you. I don't suppose you stopped to think what your father and I went through when we saw it had gone. Mrs. Weasley's yells, 100 times louder than usual, made the plates and spoons rattle on the table and echo definitely off the stone walls. People throughout the hall were swiveling around to see who had received the howler, and one sunk so low in his chair that only his crimson forehead could be seen. Letter from Dumbledore last night. I thought your father would die of shame. We didn't bring you up to behave like this. You and Harry could both have died. Harry had been wondering when his name was going to crop up. He tried very hard to look as if he couldn't hear the voice that was making his eardrums drop. Absolutely disgusting. Your father's facing an inquiry at work. It's entirely your fault, and if you put another toe out of line, we'll bring you straight back home. A ringing silence fell. The red envelope, which had dropped from Ron's hand, burst into flames, and curled into ashes. Harry and Ron sat stunned, as though a tidal wave had just passed over them. A few people laughed, and gradually a babble of talk broke out again. Hermione closed Voyages with Vampires and looked down at the top of Ron's head. I don't know what you expected, Ron, but you don't tell me I deserved it. Snapped Ron. Harry pushed his porridge away. His insides were burning with guilt. Mr. Weasley was facing an inquiry at work. After all Mr. and Mrs. Weasley had done for him over the summer. But he had no time to dwell on this. Professor McGonagall was moving along the Gryffindor table, handing out timetables. Harry took his and saw that they had double herbology with the Hufflepuffs first. Harry, Ron, and Hermione left the castle together, crossed the vegetable patch, and made for the greenhouses, where the magical plants were kept. At least the Howler had done one good thing. Hermione seemed to think that they had now been punished enough and was perfectly friendly again. As they neared the greenhouses, they saw the rest of the class standing outside. Waiting for Professor Sprout. Harry, Ron, and Hermione had only just join them. And then she came striding into view across the lawn, accompanied by Gilderoy Lockhart. Professor Sprout's arms were full of bandages and with another twinge of guilt. Harry spotted the Whomping Willow in the distance, several of its branches now in slings. Professor Sprout was a squat little witch who wore a patched hat over her flyaway hair. There's usually a large amount of earth on her clothes, and her fingernails would have made Aunt Petunia faint. Gilderoy Lockhart, however, was immaculate in sweeping robes of turquoise, his golden hair shining under a perfectly positioned turquoise hat with golden trimmings. Oh, hello there, Lockhart, beaming around at the assembled students. I've just been showing Professor Sprout the way to Dr. Whomping Willow. But I don't want you running away with the idea that I'm better at herbology than she is. I've just happened to meet several of these exotic plants on my travels. Greenhouse 3 today, chaps, said Professor McGonagall, who was looking distinctly disgruntled, not all her usual cheerful self. There was a murmur of interest. They had only ever worked in Greenhouse 1 before. Greenhouse 3 housed far more interesting and dangerous plants. Professor Sprout took a large key from her belt and unlocked the door. Harry caught a whiff of damp earth and fertilizer, mingling with the heavy perfume of some giant umbrella-sized flowers dangling from the ceiling. He was about to follow Ron and Hermione inside when Lockhart's hand shot out. Harry, I've been wanting a word. You don't mind if he's a couple of minutes late? Do you, Professor Sprout? Judging by Professor Sprout's scowl, she did mind. But Lockhart said, "That's the ticket," and closed the greenhouse door in her face. Harry, said Lockhart, his large white teeth gleaming in the sunlight as he shook his head. Harry, Harry, Harry. Completely nonplussed, Harry said nothing. When I heard, well, of course it was all my fault. I could have kicked myself. Harry had no idea what he was talking about. He was about to say so when Lockhart went on. Don't know when I've been more shocked. Flying a car to Hogwarts. Well, of course, I knew at once why you've done it. Stood out a mile, Harry, Harry, Harry. It was remarkable how he could show every one of those brilliant teeth even when he wasn't talking. Gave you taste for publicity. Didn't I? Said Lockhart. Gave you the bug. You got onto the front page of the paper with me and you couldn't wait to do it again. Oh no, Professor. See? Harry. Said Lockhart, reaching out and grasping his shoulder. I understand. Natural to want a bit more once you've had the first taste. And I blame myself for giving you that, because it was bound to go to your head. But see here, young man, you can't just start flying cars to try and get yourself noticed. Just calm down, all right? Plenty of time for all that when you're older. Yes, I know what you're thinking. It's all right for him. He's an already an internationally famous wizard. But when I was 12, I was just as much as of a nobody as you are now. In fact, I said I was even more of a nobody. I mean, a few people have heard of you, haven't they? All that business of he who must not be named. He glanced at Harry's scar on Harry's forehead. I know. It's not quite as good as winning Witch Weekly's most charming smile award 5 times in a row, as I have. But it's a start, Harry. It's a start. He gave Harry a hearty wink and strode off. Harry stood stunned for a few seconds, then remembered he was supposed to be inside the greenhouse. He opened the door and slid inside. Professor Sprout was standing by a trestle bench in the centre of a greenhouse. About 20 pairs of different coloured earmuffs were lying on the bench. When Harry had taken his place between Ron and Hermione, she said, we'll be reporting mandrakes today. Now, who can tell me the properties of the mandrake? To nobody's surprise, Hermione's hat was first into the air. Mandrake or mandragora is a powerful restorative, said Hermione, sounding as usual, as though she had swallowed the textbook. It is used to return people who have transfigured or cursed to their original state. Excellent. 10 points to Gryffindor, said Professor Sprout. The mandrake forms an essential part of most antidotes. It is, however, dangerous. You can tell me why. Hermione's hand narrowly missed Harry's glasses as it shot up again. The cry of the mandrake is fatal to anyone who hears it, she said. And also when we went to the Harry Potter exhibition, we tried putting them up before, but without earmuffs. No. Precisely. Take another 10 points, said Professor Sprout. Now, the mandrakes we have here are still very young. She pointed to a row of deep trees as she spoke, and everyone shuffled forward for a better look. 100 or so tufty little plants, purplish green in colour, were there in rows. They looked quite unremarkable to Harry, who didn't have the slightest idea what Harry meant by the cry of the mandrake. Everyone take a pair of earmuffs. Professor Sprout. There was a scramble as everyone tried to seize a pair that wasn't pink and fluffy. When I tell you to put them on, make sure your ears are completely covered, said Professor Sprout. When it is safe to remove them, I will give you a thumbs up. Right, earmuffs on. Harry snapped the earmuffs over his ears. They shut out sound completely. Professor Sprout put a pink, fluffy pair over her own ears, rolled up the sleeves of her robes, grasped one of the tufty plants firmly, and pulled hard. Harry let out a gasp of surprise that no one could hear. Instead of roots, a small, ruddy and extremely ugly baby popped out of the earth. The leaves were growing right out of its head. He had pale green mottled skin and was clearly boiling at the top of his lungs. Professor Sprout took a plant pot from under the table and plunged the mandrake into it, burying him in dark, damp compost until only the tufted leaves were visible. Professor Sprout dusted off her hands, gave them all the thumbs up, and removed her own earmuffs. As our mandrakes are only seedlings, their cries won't kill yet, she said calmly, as though she'd just done nothing more exciting than water a beautiful leaf. However, they will knock you out for several hours, as I'm sure none of you want to miss your first day back. Make sure your earmuffs are securely in place while you work. I will attract your attention when it is time to pack up. 4 to a tray. There is a large supply of potters, composting the sacks over there. Be careful of the venomous tentacula its teeth is. She gave a sharp slap to a spiky dark red plant as she spoke, making it draw in the long feelers that had been inched sneakily over her shoulder. Harry, Ron and Hermione were joined at their tray by a curly-haired Hufflepuff boy Harry knew by sight but had never spoken to. Justin Finch-Fletchley, she said brightly, shaking Harry by the hand. Know who you are, of course. The famous Harry Potter, and you're Hermione Granger, always tops in everything. Hermione beamed as she had her hand shaken too. And Ron Weasley, wasn't that your flying car? Ron didn't smile. The howler was obviously still in his mind. That Lockhart's something. isn't he? Said Justin happily, as they had begun filling their plant pots with dragon dung compost. Awfully brave chap. Have you read his books? I'd have died of fear if I'd been concerned in the telephone box by wolves. But he stayed cool and zap. Just fantastic. My name was down for eating, you know. I can't tell you how glad I came here instead. Of course, Mother was slightly disappointed, but since I made her read look cards, that's all for today. Bye.